So boom, this what happened. First thing I did was get 1 yard of this pink netted fabric. And I literally just made this pattern from taking fabric scraps and laying them across my body until it made the shape that I wanted. Once I had my pattern, I folded my fabric over so I had 4 layers and I cut my pattern out. And then I'm going to take all those pieces and I'm going to pin them together along the center front seam. Then I whipped Trixie out and I did a straight stitch along the center front seam. Once I was done, I opened the bodice up so the pattern was flat and I did a straight stitch along the top of the entire bodice. Then I flipped it right side out and this is basically done. So now I'm just going to add a bunch of ribbons to it and make it fancy and girly and all these extra things that it really doesn't need. There really was no rhyme or reason or pattern as to why or where or how I was putting these ribbons. The only one I wanted to focus on was covering that center front seam. Once I covered that with these ribbons, I just started placing ribbons everywhere else that I thought would be flattering to my body, and it pretty much worked out. So you can just throw ribbons at your bodice and it's gonna work out, I'm telling you. And you guys, if you like it, don't forget to hit that like button. If you love it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, just so I know what's going on, because I'm nosy and I want to know what's up. So what's up? Pretty please, with sugar and spice and everything nice. So that's what it's looking like so far, and I'm loving it. But anyway, I decided I'm going to use this ribbon as like the bias tape for the top of the bodice. So I did a top stitch right along the edge of the ribbon to connect it to the top of the bodice on the front side. And then I folded it over and I did another top stitch, or maybe this is a stitch in a ditch. I'm not sure because there's technically no ditch here. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure that these edges were tucked in. So I folded it over and I stitched along the exact stitching that I did before. You're also going to want to keep in mind that if you want to add any kind of wire to this bodice, that you leave an opening at the top center front to stick the wire in so you don't have to cut into your piece later. You can also add some boning behind the ribbons if you wanted more stability, but I just wanted mine to kind of lay on top of my outfit and not actually provide any structure to the outfit, so I didn't add any boning, but feel free to add some boning if you like. So here she is, and she's looking fire. I'm in love. But I also decided that I wanted to add a little bit more because I'm so extra. So I took some scraps of some pink canvas fabric and I just lined it up behind all of the ribbons just to make the ribbons stick out a little bit more from the netted fabric, because the colors were very similar and I wanted the ribbon to stick out just a little bit more along my body when I put it on. So I added even more fabric that I probably could have added long ago, probably when I put the ribbon on, but I wasn't thinking about it, and now I'm just doing extra steps that could have been skipped, but whatever. This is the creative process. You do things and you do it 10 times and then you decide you want to add something else. So you do it 11 times and it just is what it is. It's going to be perfect once you're done. Once I was done sewing all the extra canvas pieces on, I decided to leave the bottom just open because I didn't want to add any more stitching to the bottom because I didn't want it to cross my lines. I wanted all my lines to be straight up and down. I didn't want any across the horizon. So I just left the bottom open. But if you decide to make this project, you can definitely fold the raw edges under at the bottom and do a top stitch just across the bottom, and it'll finish it off and close all the raw edges up. But this is netting, so it's not gonna fray, and the ribbon was already prepared and it's also not gonna fray, so I didn't mind it just being open at the bottom. You can't even tell really. The last thing I did was I decided to use Velcro to close this bodice instead of like a zipper or maybe like hook and eyes or something, just because I wanted it to look real seamless and like the ribbons were holding it together and it was real light and dainty. So I just sewed some Velcro behind one of the ribbon strips so you couldn't even tell it was there. And that was basically it. She's done.